Hi, everybody. I'm Dave,
And I'm John.
and this is Coffee and Capes, our podcast about two of our favorite things drinking coffee and talking about geek culture.
That is a fact. It's probably the highlight of the day.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
Right?
We hope it's a highlight of your day, or at the very least, we hope you have a good time and keep coming back and listening. We appreciate that you are listening right now in whatever manner or through whichever medium you are enjoying us. But we always like to remind you about all the different ways you can connect with us.
Yeah. So maybe you're watching us on YouTube,
Hi.
guys, or you're watching the videos on our website, coffee, the letter N, the word capes.com. So coffeeandcapes.com. You could be listening to us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, all of those different things are available. And then maybe you're just hanging out, like interacting with us on social media. So we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and as we've stated before, not the TikTok.
Not the TikTok.
Not the TikTok. It could change at some point if we ever learn how to use it. But man, seems like a lot of work.
It does seem like a lot of work. I'm not sure I'm up for that.
Right? There's a younger person out there who'd like to run the Coffee and Capes TikTok for us. You let us know. You can email us at supers@coffeeandcapes.com and we'll let you hammer our TikTok away.
So my friend Kathy said she was gonna send us an email, but then like we said it too quickly, like what the email was. So give that email one more time.
All right. So it's supers, SUPERS, at coffee, the letter N, capes.com. So supers@coffeeandcapes.com.
All right, Kathy, no more excuses. I expect to see that email soon.
Right. Send us an email. Dave, what are you drinking today?
I am enjoying the last of our current bag of espresso.
Nice.
Our very, very dark roast. It's dark and rich and really, really yummy.
It is. It is a really good one. Espresso is really good. And the dark aspect really goes along well with our topic today.
It does.
It does. It does. Yeah.
Before we jump into the topic, though, do we have a fan fiction?
We've got tons, actually.
Okay.
So last week, our topic was comic book storylines that we loved. And we put up a picture from probably one of the most epic moments in comic book history, from a death in the family. And, everybody was, posting on here that they remembered, yep, I remember this. I still remember death in the family. Awesome story. The death of Superman traumatized me. That was Raymond Feliciano, 60. And yeah, I forgot about Death of Superman, but that was one that was pretty epic in the moment. We didn't know they were going to bring Superman back. Nobody really knew what was going on with that storyline, but that was one of those that when they killed off Superman and then the ensuing like funerals and everything else, like there were definitely some scenes out of that comic and the subsequent comics. Like I'll never forget in Superman's funeral, like Batman perched up on building and hooks that guy and holds him upside down, and he's like, not today. Right? Like not today. So yeah, that podcast and specifically that imagery really connected with a lot of people, and I think a lot of us remember that specific moment of Jason Todd dying and Batman's grief and anguish and everything else. So thanks everybody. There was like 10 different ones from lots of people on that one, so really appreciate it. Thanks for commenting. We'll get around to responding to everybody and saying thank you a little bit later as we try to anyway.
Sweet. Yeah, thanks everybody. Appreciate your comments and interacting with us. We love it. You guys
it's pretty awesome.
It is. We have great fans. We love them all.
We do, and we have great friends like Nicole and Sarah over at Ladybird Provisions. Like, they're pretty awesome. So you guys make sure you check them out.
Absolutely.
They're pretty phenomenal people. And they make a great coffee bomb that goes in your coffee, or dry coffee bombs. I think we're getting into a time of year where they can't ship the collagen coffee bombs, which are like my favorite, because it's hard to keep them from melting as they get shipped out, and it gets kind of expensive to ship them in like coolers and stuff.
Yeah.
But their dry bombs are great too. So, but if you're in certain areas, I know they're in Sprouts supermarkets, which I believe is mostly like West Coast, Southwest area, maybe down in Texas. I've looked in Illinois. I can't find anything. They used to be at Mariano's, but
not anymore.
Not anymore. Apparently the pandemic kind of nixed that.
Jerks at Mariano's.
Jerks at the pandemic.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. How dare you, world? How dare you indeed. Right. Well, Dave,
we are so excited to be talking about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
So before we go any further, though, we have to give our big spoiler warning. Here there be spoilers.
Yeah. We are not spoiler free. We posted on Instagram yesterday a picture from the movie theater of like one little scene that really was inconsequential in regards to the movie. Correct. And somebody called us out on it on social. I was like, how could you do that? Like, spoiler free, bro. Like, first of all, we hear you. We understand. We get it. However, right. One, it was the most innocent, like, picture. It's not spoiling anything, the picture that we took. Like, we wouldn't do that. The other thing, we have been very clear that we can't keep secrets on here.
No, we're terrible at that. We have no intention of. We want to talk because we want to talk about all of it.
Yeah, we don't want to have to hold back. We don't want to have to be like, and then there was I can't say anything, but I really want to say something, but I can't say anything. This is also, by the way, why my wife Rachel knows what her Christmas presents are days in advance of Christmas, because I get super excited and I'm like, do you want to know? She's like, no. And I'm like, I gotta tell you anyway.
Oh my gosh. That sounds like you might have a problem.
So many problems. Chock full of them.
Right. But what's not a problem is us talking about Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, because there's a lot to go over, and we're going to go over all of it. So one last time, if you have not seen the movie yet and you do not want to have it spoiled, as much as we love having you listen, we're going to have to ask you to pause us right now, go do something else, like go see the movie, and then come back and resume listening at this point.
Yes. Yeah. Like, go see the movie, check it out, come back. You should go support them anyway. Like, go watch the movie anyway. Before we move on, Dave, did you go to support your local comic shop on Free Comic Book Day?
I did not get to go on Free Comic Book Day. I had to work all day long. Yes, but I'd been there a few days before, picked up some good stuff. I am now all caught up on Something's Killing the Children, and on House of Slaughter, and on Saga, and I'm really enjoying branching out from my usual. I've always just been like a superhero comic guy, and I'm really enjoying branching out from that right now.
Yeah, there's some really good storytelling out there right now. Outside of, I mean, I'm always gonna love Marvel. I'm always gonna love DC.
Absolutely.
But the independent comics, like Boom Studios, which is producing Something Is Killing the Children and House of Slaughter, like a lot of these guys are just doing a magnificent job. And some of our favorite writers and some of our favorite artists are getting the opportunity to kind of flex their skills in genres that might not make it into Marvel or make it into DC. Yeah. And so that's nice to see. It's nice to see that. So
hey, John, it occurs to me before we finish that, we never heard from you. What are you drinking today?
Oh, yeah, I'm drinking Dynamic Duo. Nice. Yeah, this is a good one. Dark roast as well. I'm about due to order some more coffee from us, though. I gotta get some more coffee from our.
Hey, if I wanted to order some coffee from us, where would I do that?
You would go to coffeeandcapes.com. That's right. And you can use the code HERO10 and get 10% off your first order if you want.
Nice. HERO10.
That's pretty good.
For 10% off. That's pretty great. Sorry to interrupt your thought. So no. Free Comic Book Day, you were there?
I did not go. We did not go. We had other stuff that we had to do and take care of, so we didn't get to make it. And if I'm being totally honest, uh it's madness on Free Comic Book Day. Like, I love my fellow comic nerds and I love the local comic shop and supporting them. And I go every Wednesday to check my box, see what's in there, end up buying stuff, even if I don't have anything in the box, because I'm wandering the wall for a little bit, talking to Gary or Mike or Josh or somebody.
Yeah.
And, you know, like the crowd for Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, that's not really my preferred scene.
No, it's just a little chaos. I like to take my time and kind of wander through and enjoy my conversations with everybody.
Right. Yeah. And you can't
and
do
those
that on pre-day.
no, those guys are hustling that day. Like they're working their tails off. It's all hands on deck for them. So yeah, and I know as a collector, like you miss out. Like there's been some pretty epic stuff that's come out on Free Comic Book Day, but at the same time, like it's cool. It's all right. So yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
well, let's jump out of this particular rabbit hole. As much fun as that is, that's a conversation for a different day. I think the rest of that, we'll come back to. I'm certain we'll talk about actual comic books again soon. However, today we are back in the MCU. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Well, we've been in the MCU. Like we've been watching Moon Knight, right?
Yes, true. And that just finished. That'll be a soon a near future. That's the word I was looking for. Near future podcast episode.
Yeah, but it does feel like, we've had a little bit of a break from the movie theater MCU kind of universe, and we've been waiting on this one for a while. And it's been pretty hyped, especially after, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
Introduced us to the multiverse and the potential that it has.
Well, if we want to be, particular about it, I would say What If introduced us to the multiverse.
Yeah, I mean, What If, for sure. Yeah, What If, definitely. And we saw like a character from What If like pop up. But before we get to that point, I want to say that I really enjoyed the introduction of America Chavez.
Yes. And I love the cold open. I really like the cold open approach. And just that, like, here's this character, and you're just going to get to know her a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be some long drawn out, like, origin story thing. It's just here.
Yeah.
Here's who she is.
We got a little bit of her origin, we about
did
halfway through.
Right. But like I like that approach that you go back to it rather than start with it.
Mm-hmm. But
I'm sure there's some times where it would work to start with it, but I just kind of like that from this movie.
And it was nice to see kind of her evolution throughout the film, right? From kind of scared, unsure to, because in the comics, America Chavez is kind of a badass.
For sure. Yeah.
Like she's powerful and strong. So, but I really enjoyed her inclusion within the film. Benedict Cumberbatch, of course, he's like the perfect Doctor Strange. Just does such a great job.
Yeah, he really is. He's one of those pretty fully embodies the character. It's hard to imagine somebody else playing him now.
Yeah, and he's done a good job. He's one of those across geek culture has done. He was Khan in Star Trek. He was Sherlock Holmes in that series, and he was great in that. And he's so good in that. But as Doctor Strange, he really embodies that character well.
I agree. And I really think Elizabeth Olsen did a great job as Wanda in this. I mean, she's been doing a good job as Wanda, but I feel like she went next level in this movie in multiple ways.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that I was unsure how they were going to make that, how they were going to twist that, because in the previews, I know you're not a preview guy, but I love to watch previews. And in the previews, everything that they kind of showed of her, she seemed to be fairly normal, to be fairly like, whatever. In our first introduction to her again, she's in an apple field.
Yeah, this great pastoral scene with the sheep and all that.
Yeah. And then, she, as they're talking, she's like, well, you can bring America here and I can watch over her here. And it's like, you never told me her name. Like, nope. Like, you're definitely not getting on the lunchbox now.
Right. I loved that. The get back on the lunchbox. That's so great because I had the Avengers lunchbox as a child.
Yeah.
And Scarlet Witch was on it.
Was she really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was great. I still have it here somewhere.
So it was, and then that illusion fell away.
Yeah. And oh boy, did it fall away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Went from beautiful pastoral scene to
wiped out,
death, hell, something like corrupts. It corrupts everything.
Yeah, definitely.
She was she was kind of she's terrifying in some ways. I'm like, she's just so powerful. And she might be a little OP in the MCU, but I mean, maybe not, because she's been portrayed as insanely powerful in the comics too. So we're right to fear her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In the comics, I mean, she whispered no more mutants, and then there were no more most of the mutants got wiped away, and she bent and changed reality to like in its entirety. So I don't think that she's overpowered, and she has in the comics like that history of kind of mental illness that strikes her from time to time because she's traumatized. Like she's right. Emotionally, mentally traumatized. So that changes her, and we see that. We saw that in WandaVision, and then she kind of came back in WandaVision, and then we saw her out in a cabin at the end of WandaVision doing bad magic.
Yeah.
And then in this one, we got to see what that evolution of that bad magic was.
Right. And it's kind of interesting, one of the big things about any comic movie or any geek culture movie really is, how's the bad guy? Like a lot of times the movie rests on the quality of the villain.
Right. Yeah.
And have we had an MCU movie before where one of the good guys was the villain?
I don't think so. I don't know that we have. I can't.
So that's pretty interesting, right? Like, and here's your first spoiler. Wanda's the big bad in this.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like she's possessed by somebody else. It wasn't, anything else. She was hands down the big bad in this, and had the justification in her head about why she could do it, and
right.
Everything else. And Strange even called her out on it. Like, he even said, "You sound like every enemy we've ever had to face."
Right. Exactly.
It's that justification for your actions, that you're willing to hurt others to get what you want. And that was where that stemmed from for her. It's like she had created this imaginary world where she had everything she wanted. Her brother was back, Vision was back, she had her kids, she had a family and that whole thing, and she was happy. And then that went away, and she realized she wanted to have kids. I thought it was interesting though, that the way that they tied dreams into being windows into the multiverse.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was new, I think. I hadn't seen that before.
I hadn't seen that before either, but it was, that revelation that when you dream, the things that you see happening are literally the things that are taking place to other yous and across the multiverse. So Wanda dreams of her kids on a nightly basis. Yeah. She knows within a different universe they exist.
Right.
It was also funny that, when Strange ran into one of his other selves, and like, that dream where you're getting pushed off of a building over and over and over again. That was me.
Yeah. That was really
right. Good. So
before we leave the Wanda thing, I just want to, like, one thing that I thought of was how this is an idea that's explored fairly regularly in the books, where what happens if one of our super powerful people who has been a force for good, what happens when they when they turn away from that righteous path.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about, and there are a whole series about that. What's the incorruptible and whatever the other companion for that one is.
Irredeemable.
There you go. Yeah. Like here's essentially Wanda as the irredeemable. Like right. Like here's possibly the most powerful witch on the planet. Maybe the most powerful. I mean, she must be the most powerful magic user on the planet if she can so easily take down the Sorcerer Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
And she's on the wrong side of things. Like that's a legitimately horrific villain, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Right. And it's a heartbreaking one for the heroes.
Yes. Right.
Because they have
to
they got to take her down. And we got to see in a different universe where Doctor Strange had kind of fallen to that side of things and gone down the wrong path when and then his friends had to take him out because he was still dealing with the effects of the Darkhold. And let's just talk about the awesomeness of the Illuminati.
Oh my gosh, I was squealing in the theater, and once again my daughter was chastised and horrified, and I was reacting so vocally for the appearance of the Illuminati.
Yeah, and for me, I got super excited in the movie theater and nobody made any noise. Like everybody was like super quiet and chill. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Right?
Like, first of all, you saw Peggy Carter as Captain Carter.
Right? Captain Carter.
And she was awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Haley Atwell, like, just nailed it. Phenomenal. We even got the "I can do this all day" line.
Yes, right. Like that was
which was so great. She could not, though. That changed.
No, she could not.
We got Anson Mount, I believe is who it was that played Black Bolt. Who played?
Yeah, I had to look it up, but yeah, that's who they had playing Black Bolt in the TV show a few years ago.
In the much maligned and failed TV show, he played that, and they had him in like full costume with the headgear, and it was funny. He's like, well, you got one guy with a tuning fork on his head, so yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
We
that whole exchange was really great.
Yeah, it was good. We got Patrick Stewart showed up, as we knew
expecting
he was going
because of the voice in the
as we were expecting because of the voice. And the thing that I've been waiting
for. Hold on, let's before we get to that big one.
Yeah.
What I really liked about the Patrick Stewart is he was in the giant yellow chair. Like in the animated series.
Yeah.
And I noticed in the credits that in the music portion of the credits, it listed the X-Men TV show theme, animated X-Men TV show theme, but I didn't hear it.
I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to the music after a while.
Right. But like, the kind of the da-da-da-da-da,
probably showed up at that point. I have to go back and watch.
It must have. I know. I can't. Like, that's something I'm going to look for the next time I watch it because it's in the credits, so it must be in there somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
And that actually got his appearance. Actually, got a brief applause in my.
Okay.
Theater.
I've been waiting and campaigning for this forever. I was
so happy for you when I saw this.
John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
Yes.
Oh man. And he was perfect.
He really was.
He, like, the way that he spoke and the way that he addressed everything, he's just very matter of fact. This is how it is. But Reed Richards also has like compassion to him. And that came through. And he looked the part. He acted the part. Like, he was awesome. My only beef with all that was how quickly they were all dispatched.
Right.
I was like, come on. Like, we've been waiting for this forever and you got rid of him so fast. But
she wiped out all of them.
I know.
But of course, it's just one universe.
Right. It's just
so
one
if
universe.
They exist there, they must exist in other portions of the multiverse, which means they can bring them back. That's what the great like conceit of the multiverse is, that all those characters can come back just as different versions of themselves.
Exactly. And so the hope.
just to round out that, and also don't forget we got Monica Rambeau as
That's right.
as Captain
As
Marvel.
Captain Marvel. We got Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel, which was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fantastic. My dog needs to go out of the room.
Oh, the dog. Yeah, but the whole Illuminati thing and just Strange not taking it seriously, that whole deal was pretty funny and well played. And
Yeah,
then Mordo.
And yeah, Mordo, who winds up taking Strange's spot in their interaction. It's like,
Yeah,
I really can see why the me in your universe
doesn't
didn't
like
you.
And that was really funny.
That was a good moment. That was a good moment. That brings hope though to the idea that like we'll see in a Fantastic Four movie, John Krasinski, who has spoken very highly of Kevin Feige and his thought process and how he interacts with people and whatnot, that we'll get to see Krasinski show back up as Reed Richards again.
I sure hope so.
And get that Fantastic Four that isn't the origin, that isn't, whatever. And it was really interesting. And it makes me wonder, what are they setting up with this? But they kept talking about incursions.
Uh-huh.
Right. And so if you've read the comics, incursions are taking place when universes start colliding with one another.
Right. And collapsing on each other.
And collapsing on each other.
Explained it a little bit. And it came up in our podcast episode about comic events.
Mm-hmm.
I think, right? You were talking about the
Infinity
event there, where that was what it was all about, that the Illuminati was trying to manage all these incursions.
Right. And it's interesting because now we look at the multiverse and we go, okay, hold on a second. They could do the incursion events, right? Because if they do the incursion events and it's about the Illuminati and we get the Illuminati for the incursion event, one of the big pieces for the incursion events was Thanos was involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so was the Black Order. And prior to the multiverse being introduced into the MCU, everybody's like, well, Thanos is dead. No more Thanos, no more Black Order, no more this, no more that. Well, now you 100% can have Thanos back in this.
Right. Because there's always another universe. I mean, in some ways, that's the great cheat of the multiverse, is that no character is ever truly fully gone or dead.
Right. No character is ever truly gone or dead. However, right, that storyline, bringing that back into play and doing it from the point of the Illuminati, I'm really curious if they're going to, and maybe they redo it. Maybe they use Kang as like the incursion big bad.
That would make sense.
Which would make bad because we've introduced him. We haven't seen him much since Loki, but we know that he's supposed to play the big bad in the new Ant-Man movie, and they're supposed right,
which they moved up.
Did they?
Right? They swapped that with something, I forget which now.
Well, maybe it's the Marvels.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah. They swapped that,
and maybe that's because there's they looked at it in regards to the timeline of things and said, okay, this makes more sense. Let's do this here, and then we can do that there.
Yeah, and I read that that was done shooting, and the Marvels wasn't, and so they just swapped it. Yeah,
that makes sense. So I mean, we know we're getting
bug-themed heroes.
Yeah,
that was a funny line, right? Like,
our other bug-themed heroes. Does he shoot spider webs out of his butt? I don't know, but I hope not.
Right.
There's definitely some humor in this movie.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was really great. Like, why'd you come to me? Well, I could have asked the archer with the mohawk or the bug-themed heroes, but I thought maybe I'd go to the powerful magician instead.
Yeah, or one of the bug-themed heroes.
Yeah.
This movie, I will say, 100% felt like Sam Raimi.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Like there was no question in my mind from the word go, this movie was Sam Raimi beginning to end.
Yeah.
Like his style, his shot selection, like the kind of chaotic, like jerky motions of things. Like, there was no
the
question.
Humor, the dark humor,
the
presence of Bruce Campbell.
I was thinking about it today. I was like, I don't think that you can go back and find a Sam Raimi movie that doesn't have a Bruce Campbell cameo in it, at least.
Was he in the Spider-Man movies?
He was the ring announcer for the wrestling match in Spider-Man 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So he pops up in them. You just got to go back and find him.
Yeah.
But I don't think that there's a Sam Raimi movie without Bruce Campbell in it.
And of course,
awesome.
Big spoiler here. We got a zombie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We got Strange like porting himself into his own dead body, which you knew that body was coming back when you buried it on the rooftop. Like, I've buried worse. Excuse me.
So we got zombie Doctor Strange, which was fantastic.
We did. We got zombie Doctor Strange, which is great.
Little hole in his cheek.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was, there are a lot of great moments. Like Wong was in it, and he's always awesome.
Maybe not quite enough to do for him, or he seems a little underpowered for the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, I thought so too. But there was, for me, like, and I liked the movie a lot. There was, for me, however, one of the things that I struggled with was it was like the jumps from thing to thing, like in between scenes, sometimes happened way too fast.
Yeah,
that's like the one drawback I have to say within the movie for me, was that there were times that it jumped so quick from like one thing happening to the next thing happening that I felt something was off. Like it was too jerky and not, fluid enough.
Sure.
But I mean, again, that's Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
He's notorious for that.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. And my thing kind of like that was they just kept walking everywhere. Like, oh, we're just gonna walk down the streets of New York, whichever version it is, to get there. Like, you've got a flying cape, or you've got your signet ring thing. Like, why are you walking down the street? Well, because it advances the plot and gives you a chance to talk and and you can show off cool things that are happening. But like, you're in such a big hurry and you're just taking a casual stroll down the street.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. That's one of those. It's like, all right, yeah, okay. The interesting like sub storyline, I guess, about Strange and Christine was interesting, right?
For sure.
That
can't
as we
be
saw
happy in any of them. Like, they're never together in any universe.
No, but we did see in the post-credit scene, and there were 2 post-credit scenes. We'll talk about the second one in a minute.
Yeah.
But in that first post-credit scene, we saw Charlize Theron as Clea.
Yeah.
Which, if you know the comics, right, is Strange's like kind of his big love,
right,
after Christine, right? Like,
yeah, there's some versions where they're married, right?
Yeah, there's versions where they're married.
Aren't there some versions where she's the Sorcerer Supreme?
Oh yeah, and yeah, she's I believe right now in the Strange, the new Doctor Strange comic, she's the Sorcerer Supreme.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. So that was fun. I did not know that we were getting Charlize Theron as Clea going into that movie. So that was a nice little surprise.
Yeah, I saw that in a spoiler somewhere.
I don't watch spoilers, man. That's why I don't watch spoilers, because I got to enjoy that moment in the theater and be like,
I had forgot about it, honestly, until she showed up, and I was like, oh, hey, look, there she is. That's pretty awesome.
Yes, for sure.
Right. Her little challenge, like, unless you're scared, he takes his scarf and whips it around. And
right. Yeah. And where's she coming from? And who is she? Like, I love that they just sort of left it open-ended like that.
Yeah, they didn't try. They weren't trying to tie up any loose ends or anything like that.
Just open an adventure possibility for the next time.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where that goes. We are going to get another Doctor Strange movie. They teased that at the end with the black screen that says, Doctor Strange will return.
Sure.
And so I'll be interested to see how, because there's so much that can happen now We've had the introduction of, you know, so many different characters, and we continue to get more introduced, and then we've got more stories coming. You know, we've got Secret Invasion on its way. She-Hulk still has to show up.
Yep, we get
And
Ms. Marvel as a TV show.
Ms. Marvel as a TV show, and then the Marvels, right?
Well, and what are they going to do with America Chavez? Like, obviously, she's got to be part of things going forward. And so, I had to look up how to say her name. According to Google pronunciation thing, that it's Xochitl. You pronounce her first name Xochitl Gomez. I thought she was terrific.
I thought she was great. Yeah, and I'm sure we'll see her again, because with the introduction of Ms. Marvel, also Riri Williams is getting her own show, Ironheart.
Oh yeah.
So they're setting up the champions.
Yeah. You know who else we need for the champions, though?
Miles Morales.
Yes, which could also work with the incursions. If they do an incursion thing, there's a way to bring Miles Morales into the MCU.
Well, and so it was really interesting that they showed across the multiverse that there were all these crazy, weird, like,
that was one of my favorite parts of the movie, just like breaking through all the different universes.
Where he's like, "Were we paint in one of those?" And she's like, "Yeah, that one's horrible. Like,
don't
hard
try
to eat."
Yeah.
But what that does, and I don't know if you made this connection, but that opens up the idea that Miles from the Spider-Verse movies can suddenly pop into the MCU, because you have an animated, like everybody's animated universe.
Right. 100%. Yeah, I saw that too. But still, and I think we talked about this at a previous episode, I don't want animated Miles in the MCU. I want
and that's what I'm saying.
Miles.
So you saw, right, as he jumped from kind of universe to universe to universe, he became whatever that universe was. So if animated Miles
good point.
Came from the animated universe into the regular MCU, he wouldn't be animated anymore. He'd be regular Miles. And then we don't have to have the origin of Miles showing up in Earth 616's universe. Like, he just shows up and there he is.
Yeah. That was a good moment too, where they numbered the universes and we got the official, like, but wait, you know what I just thought of? Previously, I just thought of this. So they called the MCU 616.
Yeah.
Which is the main Marvel comic universe.
Right. Yep.
But previously, the MCU was supposed to be like Earth 109999 or something.
Well, that's what the fan theory said.
Okay.
Remember, that wasn't the official, like, Marvel release. That was a fan theory who said, I figured it out, and this is what universe that this exists in. But it's not. It's Earth 616.
Now we know. Yeah. Right. We know it's half the battle. G.I. Joe.
Right. So now we see, like, all these other, like, side universe. That's why I'm saying, like, I think we can end up with Miles showing up without trying to do like some weird origin edition or anything like that. Miles just shows up like in the comics, like all of a sudden, which makes me wonder, are we going to get an incursion storyline? Because that's how the Ultimate Universe and the regular universe wound up coming together to form one single Marvel universe.
Right.
Was the incursion event. Right. Man, how cool would that be? Like, that would be pretty awesome. But until then, they're setting up so many other things.
Sure. Right.
Right.
And that's one of the things I really am impressed about with Marvel in this phase 4. Like, I think for me, one of the problem spots has been, since Endgame, there's just nothing that has the same sort of emotional impact. Because how could it?
Sure.
Right. Endgame was the 22nd movie. Right. It was the Endgame. Right. Yeah. The season finale of 22 movies, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
The TV show of 22 movies that brought all of that stuff together. And there's just all of that, the roller coaster of emotion with the people dying and then coming back and the big, like, just all of that. Like, you can't match that sort of emotional high in any one of these individual things. And so they haven't really tried. Not to say there aren't emotional moments, but I just love that they're like, you know what? We're just going to go bananas. We're going to throw in all kinds of characters. It's not just going to be people that you know and love. We're going with all of these different universes, all these different scenarios, all these different characters. And I think it's kind of bold of Marvel to do it that way. And I don't know if I loved this movie, but I liked it and I respect it.
Yeah, I don't know that, like, I wouldn't say, I loved this movie. I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it way more than Morbius.
That's about as low bar as you get.
Yeah, that's pretty low bar. It's not my favorite Marvel movie, but what it does in terms of setting up the future is genius.
Yes, agreed. Yes, that's a great word. Yes, it really is.
In terms of being able to set up the future, it is absolutely genius.
And it was fun. They're having fun in this movie. The characters are having fun. As an audience, you have fun with it.
Like, yeah, it had, again, it had the Sam Raimi vibe of, like, if you think about back to things like Army of Darkness. Right,
dark
that's
and
a horror
scary,
movie,
but not in a a horror movie,
but so funny.
Right, exactly.
Like,
but
so
not
funny.
A horror movie that like makes it might make your skin crawl a little bit, but like not in a way that it doesn't fill you with dread.
Right. Yeah. You're not like sitting on the edge of your seat, like horrified. You're like, you chuckle at times.
Yeah.
You're like, this is pretty funny. And that's kind of what we got here. But we also got endless opportunity now.
Yes.
Right. Endless opportunity, because not only Spider-Man No Way Home gave us like the first crack of the multiverse, right? And gave us something that as fans was just amazing, with Tobey Maguire showing up and Andrew Garfield showing up and all the old villains like coming through, and made us go, oh, that's pretty cool, right? That's amazing. Like, and this one kicked that door wide open and said, oh, you can do this. There's somebody who can travel the multiverse like super easy. There's people in other universes that know about the multiverse because they have had to deal with the multiverse.
Yeah.
Like,
you're just learning about it, but other versions of you have been dealing with it for a while.
Right. That was something that, Reed Richards talked about with the Illuminati, was like, we've been dealing with these incursions. Right.
Yeah. Right.
The incursions that have been taking place, like Earth, what were they? Earth 838 or something like that, or 848, something like that. And they know about all the other multiverses and all the other universes that exist. So that's going to happen. Like, that's going to pop up more and more and more. And I really do think, like, while I don't know that, in terms of like an incursion event setup, I don't know that we'll see Thanos come back, but it would not surprise me for them to see them use Kang as the big bad in terms of creating an incursion event that, in turn gives us, well, like, we got to get a Fantastic Four movie now.
For sure. Yeah.
Right. And
be fools not to. And I liked how they, like you were saying before, they kind of moved that story along. Like, we wouldn't have to do an origin story. I mean, obviously this version of the universe in which we saw Mr. Fantastic, he's now dead, but they said, oh, do you have kids? Yeah, 2. So they're far enough along in that story that we've already got Franklin and Valeria, and you wouldn't have to start over again. Please, dear Lord, MCU, don't start over again.
Yeah, let's not start over again. Let's pick up from there.
Yeah.
Right. Let's figure that out and pick up from there.
Yeah.
And man, it just there's so much opportunity. And we know that if we go all the way back to Falcon and Winter Soldier, right, we know that Sam has picked up the shield, so we have a new Captain America.
Right.
Bucky's going to be doing his thing. Loki and they kicked open doors in the multiverse as well. Like, that show did it as well. Sure. So there's a ton of opportunity.
Oh, I guess that came first, didn't it? That came
first. So really,
I was wrong about that. Yeah, Loki really introduced.
Yeah, Loki really did it. Yeah, we kind of forgot about that one. So there's all these different things that are being set up, and the stuff we know that's coming, like Secret Invasion again. stuff that's kind of left undone, like Moon Knight, where's he gonna pop up again? Are we getting a season 2 of that? That's a different day's conversation, but
Right. But it's along the lines of how they've been willing to go with, you know, unknown characters with really wild storylines. They keep exploring the ideas of mental illness in some ways, which I think is
yeah, which is
important
cool.
and good and brave.
Okay.
And just, they've just been unafraid.
Yeah.
Like, it would be easy for Marvel to just sit back and rest on its laurels and just keep making
The same thing, like turning out the same stuff over and over again.
But yeah, that was one of the things my son said after we saw it. Like, this was not a cookie cutter Marvel movie.
No, it was very, very different. It was a very unique Marvel movie. And
my daughter loved America. She loved America Chavez. Like, that was, which is it? That's smart. You can say, oh, well, it's sort of marketing. Like, no, it's smart to bring in a character that somebody else can identify with. And at least in our family, it works. Like, so what was your favorite part? Oh, I really liked him. I really liked America Chavez.
Yeah. And then, and just to kind of move on, wrap a couple of things up. We had a second end credit scene with Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
That felt more like the end of the Ferris Bueller's Day Off movie.
Right. Yeah,
which was great.
Exactly.
Right. That was actually some things people were saying in the movie theaters. They were walking out and they were like, it's over, go home. It was great. Like the way that they did that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
We're what, 14, 15 years into Marvel movies? And there's been an end credit, the thing at the post-credit scene in like all but maybe one of them. Who are these people that are going to see a Marvel movie in its opening weekend and not staying to the end of the credits?
Right.
How do you not know that's a thing at this point? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. But whatever.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, maybe they had stuff to do. It's fine. I just have seen it in each of I saw it in Eternals. I saw it in No Way Home.
It happened.
And again here, like,
it happened.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not worth wasting thought process on, my friend.
Right. Fair enough.
The only other thing I want to talk about had nothing to do with the movie other than being a preview. We got to see Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh my gosh, that movie is going to be so good.
I'm so excited for that. Natalie Portman looks phenomenal.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Super funny. I get the sense that the Guardians are not going to be in it for long.
Yeah, I get that feeling too, but man,
that's fine.
Do I love that moment of like, just find the people that, what are you doing?
Not me.
Not me.
I'm just listening.
Yeah.
Their interaction is so great between Hemsworth and Pratt.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's just too funny. But yeah, that movie. Well, I mean, I don't always want to go in with too high expectations, but man, I fully expect that movie to be fantastic.
So I want to bring something up and make a little bit of a mild prediction. I believe that we are being set up for the Dark Avengers. And I'll explain why real quick. One, Secret Invasion leads us to Dark Avengers.
Right.
That happens, right? We get Norman Osborn, we get a Venom, right? We have
Bullseye as
Hawkeye, and Ares is the god on that team.
That's true.
Love and Thunder introduces
the Greek gods.
The Greek gods, as we see, which means we very well could get introduced to Ares
and Hercules.
And Ares ends up filling Thor's shoes after Thor kind of disappears from Earth.
Yeah.
Right. He just kind of becomes Dr. David Blaine and decides he's going to go down that road because he doesn't want a superhero anymore, like Thor says in the Thor: Love and Thunder preview. I don't think I want to be
Donald Blake, right?
Donald Blake.
Yeah.
And Thor says in Thor: Love and Thunder in the preview that, like,
my superheroing days are over. Yeah.
And so Ares in the comics ends up filling that role in the Dark Avengers.
Right. Yeah, he does. I could see, I guess I'd be more expecting Hercules than Ares.
Possibly. I mean, they could form a champions team, right? Hercules was a founding member of the original champions.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see, but I
Yeah.
think we're gonna probably get 2 out of that one. I think we're gonna get Hercules and I think we're gonna get Ares.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll see. Well,
Yeah.
and we're gonna get new Thor.
And we're gonna get new Thor.
The mighty Thor.
Yeah, mighty Thor. Yeah. So I mean, there's just like endless.
Yeah, the possibilities are
endless. Yeah. But overall,
so
Dave,
good.
what would you rate this movie?
This one's easy for me. I was overwhelmed. It was really good.
I would say
really
overwhelmed. Good. Yeah. Overwhelmed.
Oh, here's
again,
a question. Is Wanda dead?
Maybe in one multiverse.
Yeah.
In one universe, but but clearly she's alive in another, right? We
Right,
know she's
yeah.
alive in another because she's got her kids in another one. So
For sure. I did think it was interesting how they made the Scarlet Witch into sort of a separate, almost a separate character, like a persona, as it were.
Like totally different persona. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
She looked amazing. I loved the suit for that too. Like that was a good look. Like
yes. Yeah. And she looked creepy and evil. And,
yeah. But with just enough homage to like the classic Scarlet Witch outfit with the head thing.
Agreed.
And it kind of has that sort of gypsy tie, Romana tie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was really good. I think that was really well done.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I love? You know what I noticed? Here's one of the small things that I noticed that I really, really liked. So near the end, when America Chavez is on the table and Wanda's gonna take her power, they do a close-up on her jean jacket, and on it was written, and I don't know if I'm gonna say it right. I honestly don't know if it was in Spanish or Latin, but it would make sense if it was Spanish, but I'm not a Spanish speaker. But amore es amore. Love is love. Right? Like one of the slogans of LGBTQ
right. Yeah.
pride and power. And I just thought that was fantastic, right? Like that's part of her storyline. She's got 2 moms.
Yes. Yeah.
I think in the comics that she's gay, and I really liked that they had that. I thought that was a really neat little moment that love is love was written on her jacket.
I didn't catch that, so I'd have to look at it again. I'm gonna watch it again at some point.
And my kid said she had a button too. She had like a rainbow button somewhere. I didn't see that.
Yeah,
but I like little things like that it's pretty important and pretty cool.
Yeah. I thought the showing 2 moms was way to go. Marvel just continues to like reinforce, right, the inclusion aspect of comic books. And despite all the like, I can't believe you're gonna make this a woman character, I can't believe there's gonna be a woman Thor,
right?
Well, guess what, there is.
And as we've been saying forever, that
and
an important aspect of geek culture is that everybody belongs. Right.
And I just go back to this for all of you out there that are like, I can't believe there's going to be a woman Thor. I can't believe they're going to have a female Hulk. I can't, like, what comics have you been reading for the last like 30 plus years? Right? Wonder Woman, one of the most prolific and strongest characters in all of comic book existence, is a woman.
Right.
Jean Grey, like the list goes on and on. Sue Storm, like, can we keep rolling? Like, guys, we're way past this.
Yeah,
we're way past this, right? Like Dave just said, the little note on the jacket, love is love. Like, let's just all support each other. You don't have to live their lifestyle. You live your own.
Yeah,
and that's cool. But love is love, gang.
Yep.
That's all there is to it. All right. Climbing off my soapbox.
So two overwhelms for us, right?
2 overwhelmed for us.
We enjoyed it. Go see it. We hope you'll see it. We hope you like it too. If not, let us know that too. Let us know what you thought.
Yeah, I want to throw this out there because you brought it up, and I think it's important. It is not a cookie cutter Marvel movie. Right. It is very, very different. It feels very different. The experience is unlike anything else. So
visually, Visually, it's very different. Yeah.
Yeah, don't go into it expecting to see Spider-Man No Way Home or, Winter Soldier or something along those lines.
Right.
Like, go into it expecting weird, off the wall,
Mhm.
darker, kind of, funny Sam Raimi. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not sure what to expect, go watch Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
And then go watch like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I will say my daughter's big complaint was that Spider-Man was not in this. She's like, well, Doctor Strange was a big part of No Way Home. Why couldn't Spider-Man be a big part of Doctor Strange too?
Because they're taking a break.
Right.
No,
I know, but
that's take a potty break.
That's her favorite guy. So
yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, folks, thanks for being along on the journey with us. We'd love to know what you thought of Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. I'm contractually obligated to say it that way. By my own contract. That's just my own thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's no actual contract. All right. So, True Believers, thanks for being with us this week. Let us know what you think of the movie and of the podcast. We love hearing from you. Until next time, bye.
Bye, guys.